Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Scott Show podcast. Again, we are here talking about the NCAA football top 25. Now, talking about the top 25 is a little weird at this point because not only do we have the AP poll, which we always have, and it's been one of the things we've looked at forever, but now we have the college football playoff committee as they came in, and I want to just talk briefly about a little bit of the difference with that. So first of all, you have teams that are not even remotely on either poll that jump back and forth. So you have South Florida, who's 23rd in the AP poll. They don't even touch the playoff rankings. You have Boise State, who doesn't touch the AP poll, but is 25th in the playoff rankings. And then you go to the top, where you have Wisconsin at number 5 on both polls. And then on the top, you have Alabama, Clemson, Miami, and Oklahoma. And on the other side, you got Alabama, Miami, Oklahoma, and Clemson. So totally a mishmash kind of deal. Now, if you did an 8-team playoff, which I will always support, you're looking at 3 SEC teams that are going to be in there. Georgia, Auburn, and Alabama. If you did it where you said two is enough, then you would have either Notre Dame or Ohio State. Notre Dame and Ohio State would both be in there. Penn State or Oklahoma State, depending on what poll you're looking at, would be the odd man out. And then what about Central Florida? Still undefeated, but 14th in one, 15th in the other. What I think is that they should do the Power 5 has automatic bids. Then the lower conferences have one bid. There you got your undefeated team. They could play the number 1 team in the nation, and it would be between Ohio State and Notre Dame. See who gets in. Now, we're going to be having a lot of games coming up here soon where it's probably going to be a lot clearer. And I say probably because with a 4-team playoff, it's not always that clear. I know that we have awesome games coming up, including championship games, which will definitely throw some losses in the way of teams that are undefeated. Now, we move on to where we're at in the schedule. And we start out with the first game, and I can't believe this is even a game. We have the Mercer Bears at 5-5 against the number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. You guys might have noticed that the picture on the Speaker.com thing is of Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts. I just wanted to give Alabama a shout out. Next week we'll do number 2. Unless, of course, number 2 is Alabama. So I'll give them a shout-out as well. Virginia will face off against the Miami Hurricanes. This is going to be at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Look for this game to be quite good. I'm loving Alabama right now. Loving Miami right now. Loving Auburn right now. Football is looking good. And the next game I am looking forward to only because it would make Wisconsin go up to number 4, I think. And that's if they beat the Michigan Wolverines at Camp Randall. If they don't, it's going to be a long day for the Big Ten. Then you have the Auburn Tigers at Jordan-Hare Stadium as they face off against the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. The Warhawks and the Tigers at Jordan-Hare Stadium. You have TCU, the Horned Frogs. What a cool name. And they will be going to Texas Tech, facing off against the 5-5 Red Raiders. You have the Central Florida Knights as they will be playing the Temple Owls, 5-5. Then you have Mississippi State, the Bulldogs, 7-3, 16th in the nation, playing Arkansas, the Razorbacks, in Arkansas. You have SMU, the Mustangs, against the number 21 Memphis Tigers, 8-1 on the season. They'll be playing off in the Liberty Bowl. You have the 5-5 Golden Gophers. Now, here's the playoff implications here. If the Minnesota Golden Gophers win at Ryan Field against the Northwestern Wildcats, Minnesota will achieve a 6-5 record, and then they will be able to make a bowl game. That's how it works, is if you win, you get into the bowl. 6 games. So, Minnesota 5-5 on the season, Northwestern 7-3, and, Minnesota's got a hell of a game coming up here because Minnesota's going to be playing off against Wisconsin. And that's in the Paul Bunyan Axe game. And they're playing at TCF Bank Stadium. It's going to be one hell of a game. So, it is to be announced, by the way, just a heads up, that they are probably going to be changing the time based on when TV would be better for them. The Citadel Bulldogs against the number 2 ranked Clemson Tigers. They'll be playing off in Memorial Stadium in Clemson. And then you have the number 4, number 4, the Oklahoma Sooners, 9-1 against the Kansas Jayhawks, 1-9. They have a better basketball team, folks. It's just the honest to God truth. The Kentucky Wildcats 7-3 against the number 7 Georgia Bulldogs in Sanford Stadium in Georgia. How the mighty have fallen. Navy will be playing off against Notre Dame in Notre Dame. 3:30 NBC. NBC has a great contract with Notre Dame. Illinois 2-8 will be playing against the Ohio State Buckeyes 8-2 in Ohio Stadium. You have Kansas State, the Wildcats. They'll be playing off against the Oklahoma State Cowboys at Boone's Pickens Stadium. I love the name of that stadium. You have the number 10 Penn State Nittany Lions, as they will be hosting the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska used to have one of the most intimidating teams in the top 25. Not so much anymore, but they're still pretty awesome, if you ask me. The Maryland Terrapins will be playing off against the Michigan State Spartans. I think the Spartans are in need of a win. They have clinched a bowl game. However, you only have to win 6 games to get into a bowl game. LSU, the Tigers, looking at playing Tennessee 4-6. 2 more games for Tennessee, and they will also make it to a bowl. North Carolina State, the Wolfpack, against the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. UCLA and USC continue their rivalry. 5-5 UCLA and USC at 9-2. They'll be playing at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. The California Golden Bears against the number 22 Stanford Cardinal, Stanford Stadium. Then you have Air Force at 4-6 playing the number 25 Boise State Broncos. And probably my favorite stadium. I really want to go to this stadium one day because it's a blue field. So, yeah, it's awesome. And then in the late game, 10:30 at night, ESPN, Utah, the Utes, playing off against the number 18 Washington Huskies. I think that the one thing the Pac-10 would absolutely love to have that Power 5 in a top 8 football playoff, because they are really struggling right now. You have Washington and USC and Stanford, all these teams who are really good at 2 or 3 losses on the season, and they can't make it because their conference is so hard. So I would love to see that happen, and we will make it happen here on the podcast. On the Scott Show, we'll be talking about all the really cool things we get to do moving forward and making it happen. That's what we do, folks, every single day here on the Scott Show podcast. And that was the Top 25 show. I want to thank everybody for listening, and we will see you guys here real soon. Next week, Top 25 again Wednesday, and we'll also have the Lower Division show on Wednesday where we'll be chronicling all the playoffs. Oh my goodness, the playoffs start this weekend. And tomorrow, lower division show. So check that out if you guys want to know what's going on in the Division 2, Division 3, and the Football Championship League, as this is the Bowl League. You know, it used to be called Division 1 AA, but whatever works. So you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you here real soon on the Scott Show podcast. Have a fun day, folks.